How long does a home addition take to complete? It's one of the most common questions we get before beginning your project. And the real answer is probably longer than you think. Here's the realistic breakdown and what to plan for in the Cache Valley area. For a smaller, straightforward addition, plan for at least 6 months from your first phone call to the final walkthrough. For a larger, more complex addition, something that significantly expands your square footage, adds a second story, or involves very high-end finishes throughout, I'd say plan between 9 months and a year. And for very large additions where somebody's essentially doubling their square footage, a year or more is more realistic. And I know that those timelines sound long, but here's why they're accurate. The phase that consistently surprises homeowners in terms of length is the time before construction even begins. Before we break ground on an addition, you need design and engineering. Then you need those drawings reviewed and approved by the city. That's when they'll issue your permit. That process alone, from first conversation to permit in hand, can take a month to 6 weeks minimum on a straightforward addition. On a more complex project, it can take longer. Most homeowners mentally start the clock when construction actually begins. The reality is that the clock actually starts when you first reach out. That's why I tell anyone thinking about an addition, call me the fall or the winter before you want to break ground. If you want to begin construction around April or May, we should probably be talking about it November or December. Speaking of timing, spring in Cache Valley is the most ideal time to begin a home addition. April or May gives you the best window. You've missed the worst of winter and you're ahead of the hottest months of summer. And now you've got the longest possible runway of good weather between now and fall. Utah generally has 4 seasons, and all of them affect exterior construction. An addition that breaks ground in the spring has the best chance of getting the exterior envelope closed up before weather becomes a significant factor. The most common cause of delays in your addition is not the permitting process. When we handle those correctly up front, they take the time that they take and then it's done. The biggest variable is going to be weather. A home addition spreads over several months. In northern Utah, that means that you're going to encounter at least some rain, some cold, and possibly some snow, depending on when you start and how long the project runs. Exterior phases, foundation, framing, roofing, siding, are weather dependent in ways that interior remodeling isn't. We plan around it as best as possible, but Utah's weather is going to have some say in the schedule. Material lead times can also create some delays in the later phases of the project. We don't order finished materials 6 months in advance. We order them roughly 1 to 2 months before we actually need them. If lead times shift or material cost increases during that time, that can affect the schedule as well. The single most effective thing that you can do to protect your addition timeline is to start that planning conversation as early as you can. Call in the fall. Have your design decisions made before we apply for the permit. Lock in your scope before we break ground. And build a realistic contingency into your budget for the weather delays and material surprises that may come up during your addition project. A home addition is one of the most significant projects a homeowner can take on. It takes time to do it right. And rushing the process is how you end up with problems that cost more to fix than the time that you saved. If you're planning a home addition here in Cache Valley and you want to talk through realistic timelines for your project, go ahead and reach out now. Don't wait for the spring.